Awesome. Well, welcome everyone to our Wednesday huddle. And my name is Ben Bradshaw, for those of you that haven't had the pleasure yet to meet and connect with. And we are literally about, wow, a week away from boot camp and a week away from the trainer school for Platinum and Above down in Orlando. So going to be amazing for sure. I'm excited for that. And but in the meantime, our Wednesday huddle, this is something that we do every week, where we really just, every week is a different speaker, different topic. It's a chance for us as secret agents to plug in and grow. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a student and really an addict of personal growth and personal development. It's changed my life. And so we have access to amazing leaders and leadership within our organization that plugs in as well to really just share things that we've experienced, things that with the company that maybe news or maybe promotional or just life in general, which actually I'm going to talk about today, a topic that I put together for you guys. So hopefully you get value, and we'll also, I'm recording this, so for anyone that that is not able to see it live, we'll go ahead and post the recording in our team group for you guys to share. And it's really an opportunity for us during midweek, if you will, on Wednesday, to get our batteries charged, because we are batteries and we do need charging, right? I don't know if you guys have ever tried to use your phone when the battery's dead, but it doesn't work. Or if you have T-Mobile like me, it just doesn't work even when it is charged. But as I'm finding out with new internet or cell phone service. But so today, guys, I want to talk a little bit about 4 habits that I have used, or 4 concepts that I've used to increase my belief, not just in secret or as a man or a husband or father, but these 4 habits have helped me increase my confidence in myself. And as you guys know, if you're not confident, if you don't believe you're going to be able to do something, chances are you're not going to do it, right? And so, I'll give you an example. If I didn't believe I could jump over this car, right, my Lincoln SUV, then am I going to even attempt to try and jump over the car? Absolutely not. Like, that's dumb, right? Why would I do that? Because chances are I'm going to fall, right? I'm gonna hit my head on something. I'm gonna definitely get hurt, right? And so I'm not gonna do something that I don't believe I can do. And I'm sure you guys are like that as well. But if I work on simple principles to build habits that increase my belief, right? And I'm literally pulling from people that know how to do that type of stunt, if you will, right? Ultimately, I'm going to at least attempt, and maybe one day I'll be able to jump over a car, right? Who knows? But inevitably, if I'm not going to work on simple principles to build that belief or confidence, you can bet 100% that I'm not even going to attempt to try. And that's actually a lot like other things in our life, in our business as well. If you have people on your team that you're not building their confidence and belief, you can bet for sure they're not even getting started. They're not going to talk to people about their secret business. They're not even going to try, right? You guys follow me there? So, you're not going to attempt to do something you don't believe you can do. You guys follow me? And you can track everything back to your belief and your philosophies based upon the people that you're around in your life, because those philosophies drive your belief, that drive your activity, that drive your results, that also fuel your lifestyle. You guys follow me on that, right? And so let's talk about life in general. Most people, unfortunately, the first way to build powerful belief is to embrace your life, not to resist it, right? Like, if you're resisting something that's happening to you, it's actually happening for you, right? But you're asking yourself, why me, right? Instead of try me, right? Like, why me? Why is this happening to me? instead of, you know what, try me. Sometimes we have things that happen in our life, and they happen for us instead of to us. But unfortunately, we're thinking to ourselves like, man, why me? Instead of like, why would you want something to happen to someone else? Like, why not you? As if, God or whoever you pray to is going to give you something that you aren't actually well equipped to handle, a challenge, right? And so, embrace the things that you're going through, but also grow through them. I was sharing last night on the Bronze and Above last night, on our Zoom training. And if you're not a bronze just yet, I know that you will be one day, hopefully sooner rather than later. And it's only a byproduct of how many people you're helping. But hopefully this is going to help you build that belief to understand that you can do the things that you want to do in order to achieve bronze. And then from there, it's all the way up to compensation plan as a byproduct of just helping a bunch of people hit bronze, right? And so embrace your life, embrace these things that are happening to you and for you, because who else would you want them to happen to, right? Like as if, God or whoever, again, you pray to and believe in is going to give you something that you can't handle or can't do, right? It's not a problem, it's a challenge. I shared this last night too, that I don't believe we have problems here, and especially in the United States or North America, wherever you're logging in from, unless it's health related, right? Maybe you have a health related challenge that you are, hopefully getting better with. Hopefully you're taking necessary treatments and, paying attention to the things you're putting in and on your body, right? Because in my humble opinion, I believe that's, ultimately like you are the things that you're putting in and on your body, right? And so, but I don't believe that we have problems unless they're health related, right? Like cancer would be a problem. You hitting the next rank in the compensation plan is not a problem. That's a challenge. Would you guys agree with me on that, right? Or finding the money to get started, or finding the money to go to boot camp, finding the money to, pay your bills, right? To fuel your lifestyle. That's not a problem. That's a challenge. Whether or not we arise to the challenge, that's, really up to you. Because ultimately it comes from planning the work that's necessary to achieve that actual outcome, but then working that plan and then adjusting from there. Because ultimately, our business and our life is much like an airplane and a pilot that's flying the airplane. It takes most of the fuel to get up in the air, right? Because you're fighting resistance. You're fighting, getting up in the air to that cruising altitude, keyword being cruising, and so it's going to take a lot to get up there. Actually, once you're up at that cruising altitude, life is really easy. As a pilot, you might be able to take a nap because the planes really fly themselves at that point. But again, getting up in the air to that cruising altitude is what's going to take a lot of work. You're going to have a lot of challenges. There's going to be a lot of growth that needs to happen, because ultimately money and water are the same. They will always seek their own level, right? So if you are fortunate enough to get lucky in this business, which I don't believe that is a thing. I believe luck is preparation meeting opportunity, right? And I don't really like the word, use the word deserve, because then people feel a sense of entitlement. But so it's really about you being that person necessary to achieve things, but also keep them. Because achieving them once is, great, right? Don't get me wrong. Who wouldn't want to hit Crown Royale one time, right? Like that'd be amazing. But becoming the person necessary to sustain it, to maintain it, to help people solve their challenges so they ultimately can follow in your footsteps, because you were the person that you were supposed to be and become, to not just achieve it, but to sustain it, right? Because if you're consistent, you'll get it. If you're persistent, right, you'll keep it, and that's the way that it is in life, embracing it, obviously not resisting change, not resisting the beliefs, the activities, the philosophies, then the results and the lifestyle that follows behind it. Because it would be naive, it would be a false expectation to think that we can all hit Crown Royale or overcome a big obstacle in our life when we're not growing to become the person necessary to come up with the solutions to those challenges, right? They say don't try to solve today's challenges with yesterday's thinking, right? You guys follow me on that, you know? Because you have to be open to new concepts and ideas. You have to be open to growing, because a mentor of mine told me a long time ago, we never stay the same, right? In life, we're either growing or we're declining. We're never staying the same. And so, you know, what are you doing today that's going to put you in a better situation or a better, you know, to get a better outcome, right? Are you doing your exposures? Are you doing your personal development? Are you taking inspection of where the people are in the exposure process in order to help them make a decision to be a part of our organization as an agent or as a customer, right? You know, all we do is share the plan, collect decisions. But from sharing the plan and collecting decisions, those are ratios that occur based on how we have developed ourselves and become better within Seacret, within life, to help people see the result, right, that they could have, and see Seacret as the vehicle to get them to that lifestyle result or wherever they want to go in their life, you know, to because if you can help someone paint that picture, ultimately I believe they will pay the price, right, to get to that destination. But it's only if you've helped them clearly see that Seacret could be the answer to, you know, their hopes and prayers and their dreams, right? So number one would be embrace your life, don't resist it, you know, but understanding that things happen for you and not to you, okay? Sometimes we don't understand why, right? Like, you know, why we might have a health problem, right? But ultimately, when something like that kicks in, it helps us become better to do research to figure out that maybe we shouldn't be eating fast food, right? Because fast food can't be good for you, right? For me, like I haven't had fast food or soda in almost 10 years. I don't know if you guys can believe this, but I used to be almost 220 pounds. I wish I could say that I worked out in the last 3 to 4 years. Guess what? No. Do I need to? For sure. 100%. I should be going to the gym. Actually, my wife and I are looking at getting a tonal and turning our garage into a gym, you know, and that's something that we've been discussing heavily as of late. Why? Because I know for me, I feel better when I'm working out. I actually get pretty ripped pretty fast because my eating habits are actually really good. How do I know that? Because there was a time when I was 220 pounds when I was really pissed off. I felt miserable. My friends were making fun of me, right? Which is kind of funny actually, because I'm usually the one that pokes fun at them too. So I wouldn't be mad at them. I was mad at me because what they were saying was true, but it was me having to make that decision, right? To ultimately want that lifestyle change. Cutting out the things in my life that I knew would actually cause really bad issues for me health-wise if I didn't make that change. So I embraced the fact that I had to make those changes. I didn't resist them, right? You guys follow me? So that's number one. Embrace your life. Don't resist it. Okay. Things are happening for you, not to you. Okay. Um, and so under number two is affirm yourself. Don't degrade yourself. Again, you know, because we can be upset all we want at the things we don't have, or we can be grateful for the opportunity to get the things we don't have, but also appreciate what we do have, right? So, you know, again, I don't know, you know, who you believe or your religious beliefs or what have you, but I am very grateful for my family's health. I am very grateful for the opportunity to provide, the opportunity to help others, right? Like I don't get paid a dime to be on here today, right? Like literally to provide this information. I love doing it, you know? I believe that if you take care of other people, right? God, karma, the universe, again, whoever you believe in will take care of you on the back end, okay? But you got to act, right? Because no one's going to give you something without you acting on it, okay? Because knowledge isn't power. I shared this last night on the Bronze and Above. If knowledge was power, right? Like people could just literally do personal growth, and that would be it. Applied knowledge is power. You have to act, okay? But don't belittle yourself. Understand that you have to get better. Appreciate that. Have gratitude, right? And obviously work to become better. So instead of saying, why can't I lose weight? Why can't I hit Crown Royale? Why can't I just, blank, right? Insert whatever you're going to complain about or whatever we're going to complain about, right? Because I like to turn the M to a W instead of saying me or we, right? Like, or saying you, whatever we would complain about, why would we not say, hey, what can I do about it, right? Instead of saying, oh gosh, I didn't sign up 50 people this week. I didn't, why can't I, hit this rank? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Instead, what can I do to put myself in the position to actually achieve it, right? And then how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so I'll get to that, okay? And so ask yourself a question of what can you do to put yourself one step forward? Again, because if an airplane, once we're up at that cruising altitude, if an airplane is off target by 1 degree, you're going to miss your destination, right? You're going to miss your airport, definitely your city, right? You're going to miss the state you want to end up in. Actually, probably the country, even the final destination, right? You could miss the continent you want to end up in because you don't have that course correction. So what can you do to put you back on track to achieve the things you say you want to achieve? Whether it's health related, financial related, whatever it might be. Do you guys follow me there? Course correction. Inspect what you expect is something I always say, okay? Because obviously, if you're not taking accountability, most people unfortunately have that finger pointing out at everyone else, playing the blame game, which is number 3, right? Brainstorm, don't blame storm. That's my number 3 powerful way to believe yourself to achieving the things you want to have, right? Brainstorm, don't blame storm. Okay. So who are you following? Who are you reaching out? Who are those people in your inner group, right? Or inner circle that are lifting you up instead of holding you down? Because whether you like it or not, you will become the same 5 people you hang around the most. And believe it or not, they will actually have a bigger effect on you than you will have on them, right? So if these people are out of shape, guess what? You'll be out of shape, right? Now, I'm a foodie. I love, 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 love food. I don't count calories. I look at ingredients, right? And so I'm not a nutritionist by any means. I like to prefer to call myself a realist, right? Like if you're eating crappy stuff all day, guess what? You can't out eat a bad diet, So that seems like common sense, but unfortunately in this world, common sense ain't that common, right? But so, again, brainstorm with people that have your solutions, not with the people that have your problems or your challenges, right? Don't blame storm, okay? Because if it's to be, it's up to me. That's the name of the game. And once you adopt that attitude that you are 100% in charge of your life and the decisions and the results, right? You will start to shape your philosophies and your belief because you can backtrack it based around those people you're following, right? Because in order to become a good leader, you must first become a good follower. And I encourage you to first become a good follower of good leaders, right? And so if you're hanging around those people, again, that are broke, you're going to be broke. If you're hanging around people that are out of shape, that always complain, that find fault, right? Fault finders, if you will, then unfortunately, whether you like it or not, that's who you're going to be. Okay. And so who are you hanging around with? Now, living in Maryland, Maryland is known for its blue crabs. Okay. I don't know if you guys have, had blue crabs before, right? Like we seem to get crabs every weekend in the summer. Amazing, right? So I see Genevieve saying yes, right? It's a staple. It's for outsiders. They don't really understand crabs per se. Maybe they don't. Why you would spend so much time picking something to get such little meat or But for people here in Maryland, specifically in other areas, it's really a chance to, come together with people and have conversation, right, while you're eating. Same with crawfish, right? Like, I'm not from New Orleans. It's on my bucket list, but I love crawfish, and you only eat the small little tail, so it seems like a lot of work, but it's more importantly, it's awesome. North Carolina, you have them. Yep. So Genevieve, I used to live in Wilmington, North Carolina, for this trimester in college. I don't call it a semester, I call it a trimester because I tried it out and decided that college wasn't for me. I take responsibility because I just, it wasn't for me, right? So it wasn't the teacher, the institution. I figured out early on that I just didn't want to do it, right? And so, but we used to get crabs all the time because in North Carolina, man, they were super cheap compared to Maryland, which is crazy. Literally, it's like a mortgage payment to feed people crabs here in Maryland. And
well, come on back down here. I'll give you some crab.
Girl, it would not take me much to get down there. So, but so again, in Maryland, they give you crabs in these things called bushel baskets, right? And as soon as you lift off the top of the bushel basket, guess what happens? Crabs try to escape to get back to the water, which essentially would be freedom, right? Because once you're in the water, you ain't catching the same crab twice. But what happens is crabs have these things called claws or pinchers, as my daughters say. And if they pinch you, it hurts like hell, right? But what happens is when you open up that bushel basket, these crabs try to escape to freedom. But the other crabs that are piled on top of each other, they all try to claw each other to hold them down. And so in real life, the people that are clawing you and holding you down are the people, unfortunately, that have your challenges and not your solutions. So what do you need to do? Well, we need to brainstorm with people that have your solutions and not people that are clawing onto you and holding you in that bushel basket. Because guess what's going to happen to those crabs in that bushel basket? They're going to get cooked. Ultimately, meaning that it's the end of their life, right? So here's the thing. If you're not growing, you're declining, right? So if you're not hanging out with people that are stretching your vision or fueling your fortune and your passion, well, guess what? You're declining. You're hanging around people that ultimately are not going to help you solve anything. These are the people that tell you, oh, those things never work, right? You guys ever had someone that tells you those things never work, but they don't work, right? Like, it's the same people that complain about everything, but don't participate in their own rescue. They know everything, right? Unfortunately for me, it was a lot of my family. When I started in network marketing, they didn't know I was multiple months behind on my mortgage. They didn't know I was working 3 jobs simultaneously around the clock, right? They didn't know that, or they knew that I had a torn ACL, so I was hobbling to those 3 jobs. They also knew that I was taking care of my mom, who was fighting brain cancer at the time. Life was crazy. Now I know that it was happening for me and not to me because of the personal growth and, the mentors that have been able to help me over the years, right? But I first made a decision to participate in my own financial rescue and take a chance on a vehicle, right, like Seacret, that would allow me to ultimately be a stay-at-home parent and provide for my future family. That one day I had a vision, right, that Lauren and I would be stay-at-home parents. And people talk about money and yada, yada, yada. Like, yeah, money's great, but it's a tool to provide, right? Like, money isn't the root of all evil. It's, in my opinion, it's bad people because there's bad people in everything that do bad things with money, right? But we can do great things with money, because it is a tool. And when you do that, you have a higher sense of gratitude for the life that you can create and the style in which you live it as a byproduct of how many people you're able to help, right? And so, but again, you have to get away from those crabs in that bushel basket who are pinching you that are about to get cooked, right? The people that have your challenges and not your solutions. Now you can love them. I have a ton of friends that I love. I just don't necessarily spend a lot of time with them. I love them from afar, okay? And because again, they don't have my dream lifestyle. So their opinion, although it does matter, but when I'm looking for a solution that could provide a better life and lifestyle for my family and the people in our community, guess what? I take their opinion with a grain of salt, right? And so I encourage you to do the same thing, okay? Get with people that fuel your fortune because they have your solutions and not your challenges. So brainstorm with them. Don't blame storm with obviously the people that have your challenges, okay? Number 3, do something, not everything. What do I mean by that? Focus on the small things that yield the high results, right? Because a confused mind does nothing but shut down. You guys follow me, right? And I don't know about you guys, but when I have a ton of things that are happening, even though they're happening again for me, not to me, I need to simplify in order to multiply. You guys catching that? So simplify to multiply, okay? Because you're not going to reach momentum unless you can focus on simple wins. That's it, right? Now, I've never met someone that is truly wealthy or very good at anything that is very good at everything. They just get very, very good. They're focused, right, on simple things that yield high results. There's a book that I love. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Because once I read that book and I started practicing those creating good habits, right, the compound effect, and I implemented that. So I took action, right? Applied knowledge, not just knowledge, right? Applied knowledge. And I started to implement that in my life. That's when I started dropping pounds like crazy. And again, it wasn't the gym. It was the habits I created that were gym-like habits. But in this instance or example, they were more related to my lifestyle, my eating habits, right? So if you see this, right? Alkaline water. Royal Farms sells alkaline water. So I don't drink my calories unless, it's the weekend. And guess what? Like I have a couple beers here and there. I do enjoy that, right? But I understand that there's a price to pay for it, okay? So, but during the week, it's a habit of mine to drink water, not drink my calories, all right? How did I find out about that habit? Well, it was a lifestyle change from the compound effect. So if you go to darrenhardy.com or thecompoundeffect.com, I think you might be able to get that book for free. You just pay shipping. So here's the cool thing about it. Most of life's challenges, the solutions have already been written about. Ashley said, great book. Yep. So most of life's challenges you can find on YouTube. You can find in a book. Here's the real challenge. We as humans don't pick them up. We don't go to YouTube and, Google the things that we're looking for, the solution, because we're busy, we're not productive. So if you schedule that time and you're on purpose, and this is like me time, right? Which I'll get to that in a second. Well, guess what? It will actually help you create better habits. And then you can start to get better results from your habits. Why? Because you've shaped your philosophies, right? And your beliefs that will fuel your actions, your results, your life, and your lifestyle, okay? Because that's all it is. You can inspect what you expect. Life, business, doesn't matter. Same thing. So it's the 80-20 Pareto rule, right? It's the 20% makes the 80%. The 20% of what you're focusing on will fuel the 80% of the results you want, as long as you understand that up front, figure out and take inspection of the things that you can do right now that will yield you better results for the lifestyle you're looking for, right? And it's about making a decision. Decision comes from the Latin word de, right? Which means to cut out of, like an incision would mean to cut into, right? So decision, right, is, decide, right? Decide, right? Which, again, means to cut out of, like a homicide or, it's to cut out of, decide, right? And so, you have to make a decision to cut out something for the better result you're looking for. Okay, so just got updated back off on the March boot camp on homepage. Okay, great. So make a decision to focus on things that yield higher results and cut out the stuff that doesn't, okay? Maybe you have some secret agents in your organization that you need to make a decision to love them from afar because they're playing the blame game. Yes, I understand, shipping has had its challenges, right? Thankfully, they're behind us, you know? Yes, I understand that, sometimes things, you know, take time, right? Again, if things were perfect, the company wouldn't need us. There's a thing called first movers advantage in our profession, right? And with Seacret, it's very unique to have this global infrastructure in place, but having an opportunity to be first, right? Like, gosh, to have a travel product, Club Seacret, guess what? It hasn't necessarily launched yet, you know? But I was looking last night with a buddy of mine who's a top leader in another company and great friend of mine. And I showed him, our Club Seacret portal. And I said, where do you want to take your wife? He said, Bali. So I searched Bali. Guess what? 5-star resort, $731 for 5 nights. He was freaking blown away. I didn't have to go into how we match up volume and the binary because he ain't gonna understand it anyway. I didn't have to talk about the Dead Sea minerals, how they're exclusive, this, that, and the other. Why? Because I knew he didn't care about that, right? I didn't have to go into all the details that necessarily would confuse him, so he would shut down and not make a decision. All he needed to know was, man, I can take my wife to a 5-star resort for a fraction of the price. I'm in. Where do I sign? Why? Because I asked him what's important to him, okay? So again, focusing on small things that yield high results, right? The 20% that would lead to the 80%, okay? So do something, but don't do everything. Focus on what's important. If you break down, I always tell people that, if you break down the word win into an acronym, for me, it means what's important now. Do you want to win? Who here wants to win, right? Obviously, no one wants to lose. Now, I think you learn more by losing than you do by winning, right? As long as, again, you apply the knowledge, okay? But figure out what's important now and act on that, right? And so, that's what's going to yield your higher results. But make a decision to act on it. Make a decision to register for boot camp. You can still figure it out if you want to figure it out. Be resourceful, right? Like, my daughters all the time ask me for help with stuff. But before I give them an answer to what they're looking for or help them with something, I say, be resourceful first. Before you ask for help, be resourceful. Could you find a way to go to boot camp if you really wanted to? Yes, you could. Now, if you knew that boot camp would provide the value for you to achieve your dream lifestyle, would you pay the price? I believe the answer is yes. Do you know why? Because I've never missed an event, right? Never miss an event. And I had that attitude because of the mentors I was around, right? The people that I was brainstorming with, not blamestorming with. And I figured out how I could make it happen instead of just letting it happen, right? Because I believe boot camp is going to be the exact 100% without a doubt, the actual event that's going to send our company into momentum. And if you knew that, you have that clarity, would you pay the price? I believe the answer is yes. Do you guys understand why I believe the answer is yes? Because I literally have put my oxygen mask on first, right? I've paid the price, still paying the price because I want to achieve higher levels. And I understand that it's all a byproduct of how many more people I can help. But my attitude happened before the paycheck happened. I literally was sleeping in a damn bathtub of a hotel with like 6 other guys and that was actually in Oklahoma City for my first event, right? Not Orlando, not a resort, but I knew that the people there had my solutions. And in order for me to find them and bring them back and apply them, I had to make a decision, right? I had to obviously commit, right? I had to embrace life. I knew this was happening for me, not to me, okay? And then I said, I wasn't like, why can't I go? It was, what can I do to make it happen? All right. So do something, don't do everything. Do something to put yourself in a situation where you can attend boot camp next week. Okay. Don't say, why can't I do it? Say, how can I do it? Maybe you have something that is costing you money, right? Maybe it's a gaming system. Maybe it's something at your house that you could sell. But knowing on the back end that you could actually make a decision to buy a newer version when you get home as a byproduct of the information you received, that's going to help you achieve that newer version of whatever you might have to sell to be resourceful to actually show up, right? Again, what's going to help you take your secret hobby and turn it into a business? It's going to take the people that have your solutions, not your problems, right? The people in Orlando that you can brainstorm with, not the people at home that you're continuing to hang around that we're brainstorming with, right? And so here's some tips on how you can drop these bad habits in order to ultimately achieve a better lifestyle, because it's going to help your philosophies, beliefs, right? Activity that'll drive your results, your life and style, okay? So stop saying yes to the things that don't matter. Don't be afraid to say no. Not everyone deserves your attention, right? If you're in your season of growth and your season of building, then you can't give everyone your time. It's okay to say no to people without actually giving them an explanation, right? It's okay not to respond to text messages for people that aren't, fueling your vision. Now, when Muzaffar texts me or Jesse texts me or Isaac texts me, I answer right away. When one of my friends texts me, it can wait. I actually don't even read it because I can't close it. You guys follow me? So prioritize who you're actually investing your time with and who you're spending your time with, because investing pays a return. Spending does not, right? Holding on to people, right? So stop holding on to people, okay? Let people go, all right? You know if someone is a good influence or bad influence in your life. Love them, but do it from afar, right? Not making you time. You need me time. It's necessary. See, some of us, unfortunately, are trying to pour into others from an empty cup. Doesn't happen. So schedule that time. Meditate, right? Listen to personal development. For me, when I'm doing activity that is not income producing activity, right? Like, maybe I'm in my back office looking at reports around time where I can't contact people, okay? Then I'm listening to personal development. And the reason I'm doing this is because my subconscious mind doesn't stop. Just because I'm focusing on other things doesn't mean my subconscious mind isn't recording everything. So I wanted to record good things. And see, you guys look at me today and you look at this person that's spitting out all this stuff without even taking notes. Well, guess what? It's only as a byproduct as how much I've fueled my subconscious mind, because it's working whether I'm working or not. Don't get me wrong, I do personal development. I read good stuff. I listen to good stuff all the time, but I'm always feeding my subconscious mind. We don't watch the news at home. For sure don't watch the news. We limit actually we limit, the influences around us that are good or bad, or actually that are bad. Why? Because why am I going to put my daughters, my wife, and myself around things that are bad that actually aren't going to, fuel my future successes, right? So quit multitasking, focus on the 20%, not the 80%. People say I'm good at multitasking. Well, you can be an amateur of many and a professional of none if you want. I prefer to be a professional of the one thing that can allow me to focus on other stuff later. If I want to learn how to play guitar, I'm not going to play guitar while I'm doing a Zoom webinar. There ain't no way I'm going to be good at either thing, right? So I need to, I need to stop multitasking, focus on what's important now if I'm going to want to win, right? Stop striving for perfection. Perfection is a terrible thing, unfortunately, because it can hurt you, right? Focus on progress. focus on getting better 1% every day, right? And apply, your progress, okay? Because people that focus on perfection, unfortunately, never achieve it. And if anything, it causes more anxiety, and they have a date in which they'll actually quit focusing on the thing that can yield the high results. Why? Because they're a perfectionist. Understand that, you were made to be human. You were made to mess up. Now, if you mess up on things due to a lack of integrity, that's a whole nother issue. I believe time will promote and expose you. And guess what? The community will push you out because, you have a lack of integrity. But it's okay to make mistakes with integrity, because that's how you become better. You learn more from mistakes as long as you apply. Okay. And so with that being said, guys, literally, focus on the things that are going to yield the high results. Get clarity, right? Take me time, spend more time with the people that have your solutions, not your problems or challenges, right? Stop blaming other people for your life. Take charge of it. I don't know anyone that has their dream lifestyle that blames others. It just doesn't happen, you know? Because again, money and water will seek its own level, okay? So become a better person and you'll attract better things, all right? And so with that being said, guys, I appreciate you logging on. Let me go ahead and stop this recording, and we'll make it available on the team page, Team Elite Agent Group. I'll open it up for 5 minutes for questions, and we'll be on our day. So let me stop the recording.